Why are the two candidates not talking about inequality growing at breakneck speed?
You know, I think because it is still a taboo in American political life and in American cultural life. One of the economists I talked to, he works for the World Bank, and he said to me, and he's a specialist in income inequality, and he said, when you go to think tanks and you say you'd like to do a study about poverty, they say, that's fine, that's great, we're happy to fund it, because writing about poverty makes everybody feel good and feel that they're being charitable and beneficent. But if you say, actually, I want to study income inequality, and even most dangerously, I want to study what's happening at the very top of the distribution, what Branko Milanovic said to me is the think tanks immediately pull away because they say our donors won't like it, and that actually challenges the whole economic setup of the United States and of Western capitalism. It's very, very threatening, and I think that that's why you've had the billionaire class. The minute Barack Obama, I would actually say rather gently, suggested that the millionaires and the billionaires should pay a little bit more, you had immediate cries of class warfare from the plutocrats, and very emotional. There was an activist investor who sent an email to his friends. The subject line is battered wives. And in the email, he compares himself and his fellow multimillionaires to battered wives who are being beaten by the president. He actually uses those words.
And I thought it was really interesting in your book how you pointed out that Bill Clinton himself responded to Obama's criticism by saying, I would have done it a little bit differently. I think, you can't attack these people for their success. And I think that's very relevant because if you go back in time, it wasn't always this way, but I think the shift really began with Clinton and the New Democrats. I think after, Walter Mondale lost in 1984, the Democrats decided, we're never going to lose the funding battle again. And they began this sort of imperceptible shift where they continued to campaign on social issues the same way they had before. They retained their liberalism in that sense. But economically, they began to side more and more with Wall Street and more with the very rich. And I think we've now reached the point where neither party really represents the very poor in the way that the Democrats may be used to. And so that's why you don't see it in the debates, because neither party is really an advocate for that kind of left behind class anymore.